What's up, XRP family? Thank you guys for joining the video for today. Here we can see, guys, doesn't end like you think it does. GLTA. So this drop is not official from Bearable Guy, but it's still interesting, guys. As you can see that we have a small decode here. This right here seems disproves the future from the portal. Rabbit with one ear. The cake has 4 infinities is 32. The rat is Gary Gensler. 3-1 points on the cat. The king got a heart attack. Who's the king? The king is Bitcoin, guys. Brad Sword codes on the ice bars. So a very interesting drop, guys, and a very interesting post. Here we can see, guys, that we are very close. Here we can see absolutely mind-blowing. We can't imagine how stunned Ripple and Brett Garlinghouse must have been when the SEC Hinman gave the ICOs a free pass and instead sued Ripple. I mean, holy crap, it's the antithesis of anything the SEC has ever said, right? So if you can see here we can see all these tweets from a long time ago. They were actually very controversial. But the thing is, guys, what people don't understand is that this is good for Ripple. The SEC lawsuit is good for Ripple, although it may not seem like that because a lot of people are losing funds and Ripple is losing funds. It may not seem like it's a good step, but it is a necessary step to get mass adoption. That is why Ripple was always chosen to be in this lawsuit, guys. Here we have Fall Hill Capital Manager Director Jimmy Falley comments on the Ripple versus SEC case, ETHgate, and the stratospheric depths of the derivative markets during a recent interview with XRP Confidential Committee member Zach Rector. Let's take a look.
If we could go back in time and the SEC didn't sue Ripple, even with the Ethereum free pass speech where, Hinman went on stage at the Yahoo Summit, crypto summit, and declared Bitcoin and Ethereum weren't securities, but basically left everybody else in, the opaque zone, that would have been fine. I think XRP could have continued to flourish and let the free market decide which is the best asset to use. I mean, we do live in a free market economy, right? It was really when the regulatory capture process occurred and they sued Ripple and created this whole kind of confusion and cloud on title. And then everybody promptly left. Jay Clayton left the next day. Bill Hinman was leaving right around that time. It smelled bad. It looks bad. They were warned in advance by Joseph Grunfest, who's a very established former SEC commissioner himself, very established securities law professor at Stanford Law School. We'd love to stick to crypto, get the government out of the market, and maybe we can do that. As for the massive debt, first of all, the 30 trillion and the 100 trillion, that's just what we're told. These aren't even getting into the derivatives that are sitting on top of all that debt. The BIS has just come out and said, whoops, there might be $80 trillion in off-balance sheet derivative transactions based on pension fund liabilities. When you're talking about those unfunded liabilities in America, you're just talking about Social Security and entitlement programs that are part of what our government is supposed to be maintaining for the benefit of the people. The actual debts are stratospheric when you start to look at the derivative transactions that the pension fund assets are being bet into. I mean, if people really started to peel back the onion, I'm talking the teachers and the various unions that have their retirement set up in these pension funds and started to understand the gamble and the risk that the people managing these funds have put their assets in on the global stage, it's not all that different from what's going on at FTX right now and what we're discovering.
Very interesting, guys. So see, everything lines up with a collapse that is coming. And people may think easy of this, but this is not something that will just go and fly by. This is a major thing that we are talking about, but people don't understand this. Only 2 hours after relisting XRP on Bitmart, a major cryptocurrency exchange, XRP's trading volume has already reached and exceeded 600K. That is a lot, guys. That is a lot. Just in a num of time, right? And this is just one of those exchanges. Only hours after XRP was relisted, the volume exceeded $600,000. How is data unchained? Trading on centralized exchanges takes mostly off-chain in the form of order book recording, so listing on a major exchange and the growing liquidity of XRP has not had much impact on the XRP ledger. Now, the thing is here, guys, that the XRPs on exchanges are running out. There is a big supply shock incoming as well. Most people just have to see it until they believe it. This is why we have the jump on all future XRP investors. We know what's going to happen before it happens. We got in before 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. And all of this is aligning with what is going to happen with that collapse, right? Imagine the USD dollar collapsing. What will go up? Assets will go up. Not all assets, assets that have value, that are really solving a problem. So here you can see, it will soon be clear that the sacrifices we made were worth it all along, right? Right now, it may not look like it, but it will be the case. Because a few tubers started on XRP is not for a retail investor narrative based on a very old video from a Ripple employee. It sparked the original buyback speculation. It's very clear if you've been in the space and paying attention, liquidity in the early days was an issue. First to attract the institutional investor and then for on-demand liquidity. Today we are dealing with multiple animals, people who don't understand decentralization and XRPL mechanics. A brutal bear market with investors attracted to the hopium. Fewer researchers, more entertainers, more speculators than developers on crypto Twitter. Horrendous media coverage and so on. We have these runaway trummers, as my good pink sparkle friend would say, that take on life of their own. The XRP is not for retail is one of them, right? So XRP is for everyone right now. Basically, yes. But the thing is, you have to understand this, guys. How many people thought that Bitcoin would go to these tremendous numbers that it went, right? How many people? There is not a lot of people that have been able to hold from beginning to end. It is almost something impossible to do because you never know where it goes, right? That's just a fact. Now, we have some kind of advantage because we understand that Ripple can go a very far way. Ripple will partner with the government post crypto regulations like Google partnered with the NSA. That's why Rosie Rios, Michael Barr, Craig Phillips, Anya Manuel, Susan, and they are board members. They see the writing on the wall, career politicians embedded into the government. Here we can see, guys, Anya Manuel works for Rice, Hadley, and Gates. Condoleezza Rice was recently in an interview of the Jon Stewart show with Hillary Clinton. Anya Manuel specializes in foreign relations with China and India. It's a big club and you ain't in it. That's an interesting kind of observation there, right? Working with China and India. Those are good partnerships if we think about it, right? That's the BRICS, the Year of Truth and Justice, guys. If you're here because of XRP, yes, this ties in. BRICS, China, backed Dems are the higher power pushing the SEC to prevent XRP adoption in the US. Gary was HRC's CFO. This might be possible, guys. This might be possible. But again, to me, it's very obvious that this is all part of the plan in the USA. Here we can see Joe Biden's compromising partnership with the Communist Party of China, all that stuff. So basically what this guy is saying is that China is pushing the agenda to actually put XRP in a worse position than it is now, right? To actually stifle innovation. But it doesn't mean that it's really true, right? Like it could still be a script from the USA that they just want XRP to actually flourish and they need regulation because many big companies have been sued, guys, like Ripple, like Tesla and like Apple, and look where they went afterwards, right? So let's take a look, guys, at one last video that I want to show you. Watch Bill Hinman constantly look down at his script Jamie Dimon wrote out for him. Very interesting, right? And this is what I was talking about, that they just have a script following it along until they finish. Let's take a look.
Neither Bitcoin nor Ether would be considered securities and thus not under the purview of the SEC. Can you very briefly explain what your reasoning is?
Sure, Bob. These are complex facts and circumstances tests, but when we look at Bitcoin or if we look at Ether and the highly decentralized nature of the networks, we don't see a third-party promoter where applying the disclosure regime would make a lot of sense. So we're comfortable in some sort of viewing these as items that don't have to be regulated as securities.
Now, you also talked about initial coin offerings or ICOs, which are ways of raising money using cryptocurrencies. Did you use a similar reasoning? You implied that most seem to be securities, ICOs, but some of them are not. Can you just show us what the difference is simply?
I wish we had a simple way to say this is in and this is out. As I mentioned, there are usually facts and circumstances tests, but a key factor is there a third-party promoter here who knows much more about the instrument than investors might? If that's the case, that's sort of an initial indicator that we might have a securities transaction. If people are buying it for investment and for a return and looking to that party for a return, then again, that's an indicia of a security. If you have, on the other hand, a token that's just used in the network for a good or service, and that's why people are buying it, and that service is available and up and running, not under development, then you may not have a security.
You might not have a security. Did you pay attention to that last sentence, guys? He said when there is a service, right? Now, which one of Ethereum and XRP was more likely to be a security? Of course, Ethereum. That's why this is so obvious that they chose Ripple as to actually sue. Now here you can clearly see, guys, that this is a script that they're following. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.